Hello and good morning, all. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us today. We have a really special episode of our Alumni Association virtual engagement series. This is a monthly video series where we sit down and talk with a Manor College alumni to hear about their experiences as a Manor student and what life has been like since graduating. Today, we are talking to a Manor College alumni from the class of 2014, Aurora Mattern. Aurora grew up everywhere, as she calls it, as her family moved around a lot, but she did find herself at Manor College in 2012 and earned her associates in arts as a early childhood education degree. Today, Aurora is a third grade teacher at the Fine Arts Academy at Littleton Elementary School District in Arizona. Welcome, Aurora.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. We're so happy to talk to you. I think this is one of our first series episodes where we've talked to someone who's a teacher. So I think that's really special. So Aurora, can you start us off by telling us, how did you learn about Manor College and how did you decide that that was the right school for you for your post-secondary higher education?
So in a way, I always like to think that Manor chose me. I was kind of in a slum trying to find a college that really worked for me. And I couldn't really seem to find one that really fit me. And then out of nowhere, I kind of just was like, let me apply to some other schools that I wouldn't really know about. And since Manor College is super small, it is kind of hard to know that the school even is really there. So I was really searching for places that weren't really like in the, everyone wants to go to Penn State, everyone wants to go to like Rutgers. And so I was like, let me find somewhere that's more like a small town home type of thing. So I applied to Manor and they actually sent me a blank envelope as my acceptance letter. So I called them and they were like, yeah, you're in. And I felt immediately like I needed to just go there and be there.
Oh, wow. That's so great. That I think it's really neat how you intentionally were looking for a place that's going to be a small town feel, and kind of looking where people weren't. Other people look at other schools regardless, for their reasons, but you kind of knew what you wanted. And I think that's really unique for anyone who's young and a teenager or a young in their early 20s to know like what they want. I think that's often really hard to identify. So major kudos for you for sticking to like your intuition and like following that. And I'm really glad that obviously Manor called you back. So that's really great. So tell us, what was your Manor experience like? What were you involved with? How were your classes? And take us back to 2012 to 2014. What was the school like for you then?
Well, immediately it was amazing because, I had to be in the dorms. I knew because I had a family that lived in Jersey. So I couldn't really just drive every day from Jersey. So I knew immediately I'd have to be in the dorms. And it was very small and very new. But I had someone who I contacted, one of the alumni that was an RA there. And she was in the veterinarian program. And she actually made me an RA my very first semester there at Manor. And so I was able to be an RA right off the bat as a freshman, which is not possible anywhere else.
Right.
And it was pretty amazing because that actually opened the door to a lot of the opportunities that I wouldn't have had regardless. I would have probably just been there and been like a quiet kid in the corner, but that kind of brought me out of my shell. And so I was able to do like the, what's it called, in the beginning of the semester, beginning of the year, we bring all the freshmen in and give them
orientation.
Like yes. I love doing orientation. That was my favorite thing. And I even did that after. I did it for about 5 years. So I enjoyed that very, very much.
Yeah, it's definitely clear to me that you have this heart for hospitality and welcoming people. So that makes sense that like even as a freshman, you need to be welcomed yourself, but there you were welcoming others. That's really unique and really neat that you were able to do that. And I loved how you stuck around to after graduation and still helped with orientation. I remember you as a really involved student and an active campus leader. You were in different clubs and things like that, doing service projects. And that to me is always one of the really beautiful things about Manor, because we are small and students usually are here for 2 years, you can become a student leader really quickly, where at other schools you might not become until you're a junior, senior. Here, if you're only here 2 years, you kind of get involved quickly, and then you can rise into a position of leadership by your sophomore year, even midway through your freshman year.
Mhm.
And it just happens quicker, I think, because of the nature of the school. So, but that it gives you opportunities and makes you not sit in the corner and be the shy girl, but you can,
Exactly.
help others, bring them out of their shells too. Tell me about, studying ECE, early childhood education, and what was that like? What were your classes like? And how do you feel that your education at Manor prepared you for becoming a teacher, a certified teacher?
Well, I really appreciated, I mean, right off the bat, I had Dr. Cherie Crosby, right off the bat in my first class. And it was absolutely amazing because I honestly didn't really know that I wanted to do early childhood right off the bat. I was like, I work with kids, I like kids, let me try this out. I like to teach things, but maybe I'm not really sure. Well, in that first class in August, it was just, I wanted to be a teacher. Like it
Mm,
opened that door. And I really appreciate the fact that Manor College doesn't just do like, hey, here's your classes and you show up and you do your work and you leave. What something I really appreciate with the education program is that the professors really do try to help you find places that work for you, like jobs or people that you can work with. And so they actually gave me my first opportunity to even become a teacher. And so I was
mm,
able to get enough credits in that first couple semesters and then join a school that was right down the street. I didn't need a car. I didn't need anything. So I just showed up and I was able to start doing education, which I loved.
mm,
So it was amazing that it's not just a place that you take your classes at. It gave
mhm,
you opportunities left and right and
mm.
was good opportunities.
Mm, that's great. It's so good to hear that you kind of came in apprehensive and you weren't entirely sure what path, but then after taking a class or two, you were like, "Yep, confirmed. This is the right direction." Something that we really are kind of always talking about is preparing our students for the workplace. Giving them a career and not just the information, but helping them get opportunities. And I love that that was part of your story as well. Most of our students, they want to come here because of the career opportunities, and they want to go be prepared to work pretty quickly after graduation. So it's really just nice to hear that that was your experience, and it was something that that really benefited you in that. So tell us, after you graduated from Manor, where did you go, and kind of how did your path kind of go from there?
So I actually applied to Chestnut Hill. And at Chestnut Hill, it was completely opposite. I ended up being that student that just showed up to class and then
Mm,
I went to work. So it was very different, even though I know the schools are kind of similar.
mm-hmm,
Chestnut Hill does have about 3,000, I think, more students than
mm-hmm,
Manor College does. So it was bigger.
mm-hmm,
And so I continued teaching in childcare settings as like
mm-hmm,
preschool, infants, pre-K, and so on. And then from there, when I graduated, I applied for a school to teach at in Arizona. And that was mainly because of weather. I could not
mm-hmm,
do the cold weather, but I did it. And I mean, I got hired right off the bat. So they were very impressed with the fact that I did 2 years at one school and 2 years at another. And I still was very focused in what I wanted to do.
mm. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Chestnut Hill is a great school, and there's a lot of great schools in our area in Philadelphia. But definitely a different experience. Manor, we're definitely we like to think that we're a unicorn, and that like there's no place like Manor. Um, and definitely it's good to hear that you got to have both experiences, which hopefully together just made you a stronger educator, a better person holistically. So you're in Arizona now, you're teaching there, and tell us, what is Arizona education like, and what have you seen, and what are some things that you're hoping for in your role as a teacher in Arizona?
So being in Arizona is a lot different. I know that the education system in Pennsylvania is a lot better. So having that education from Pennsylvania to teach really helped me succeed in my schools out here. So I was able to take a lot of the information I learned about being an educator, and also the way that Pennsylvania sets up their education system for teachers is more, I guess you could say, accessible. That's probably the best word I could use. And so that really helps teachers apply what they know in class and apply what needs to be done to help students succeed. And even though Arizona's education system is lacking in that area, every school that I've been at in Arizona, I'm able to be a leader to help other teachers so that I can help them understand maybe the curriculum that we're teaching or the standards that need to be taught, or even just how to help kids feel comfortable in the classroom, because that's huge. And a lot of the areas I've taught in were Title I schools, so they really need help. And one of the great things, though, about Arizona that I couldn't find in Pennsylvania was that there's a higher EL population. So that's English language learners. And so that's kind of my passion. And that's another kind of reason I could say that I came out here, because of that population, and I'm able to do more in that area.
That's great. I loved how you said that, in every school you've been in so far, you're still able to be a leader and help other teachers. And that to me connected what you did at Manor with orientation. And when you're an RA, here we are 8-9 years later, and Aurora still kind of has that same heart for helping people, regardless if they're a new student, an apprehensive student, that shy kid, or a new teacher starting their role. So I love seeing how that translates, and that you're still doing those things, because it's really, it's just really great to see that your compassion has stayed true the entire time. So Aurora, as we kind of close up, what advice would you give to Manor students who are aspiring to become teachers, or right now we're in spring break of our semester? It's always a challenging time of the year. Students get busy and exhausted and stressed. What advice would you have for them?
Well, I guess my number one thing is don't do what I did and not sleep, because I know that Dr. Crosby would be really upset with me. But I do know that with becoming a teacher, a lot of the things going around nowadays are kind of negative. And it's kind of to the point where people get really, they just don't want to do it anymore. And I understand seeing all the teachers leaving the career can be kind of like negative, and you don't want to do it. So I would say to not let other people's judgments of the career make you feel any different about going into education, because you could be changing a kid's life. You could be changing the whole way that they even do anything. A lot of the kids that I've taught over the years, their parents will find me on Facebook or find me in other places, and I have a lifelong connection with them. So it's very important to just know that you can do really anything that you're going to put your mind to. Like that, even though it sounds kind of corny, kind of sounds like everyone's repeating it, but that's really the truth.
Yes, you absolutely can. And I think your story is just a great testimony to someone who wasn't sure what they wanted to do, got confirmed, and then has just moved on and moved through that. We thank you so much, Aurora, for being with us today and inspiring, encouraging other alumni out there. And have a great rest of your school year. Wishing you the best of luck out in Arizona. Let's take some of your warmth. I would love some of that over in Philly here. Spring's coming, but it certainly still has a little ways to go. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. Take care now.